Hello, welcome to the Kalabash mosaics, and today I'll be showing you how to deploy one of the ArcGIS solutions for the local government, and the solution name, as you can see, it's called Raw Permit Review. So to kind of take a look at the overview of the tool. So the raw permit review is a configuration of the crowdsourcing polling application that can be used by government agencies to review right-of-way permit applications and offer comments during the review process. And the reason why I'm doing this is I would like to bring in a hosted feature item that I have in my ArcGIS Online, and to show you how you can bring in your own hosted feature item and use that in the solution. So to start with, we need to install an add-in, the solution deployment add-in, and to do that I'm going to search for ArcGIS solutions deployment add-in. Okay, and once we download the solution, alright, so this is the download option, and you can see the size, and that's what I'm going to do, to hit download. Then I'm gonna specify my saving location. Once the download is complete, so I'm going to open the file and double click the download, and once you double click the add-in, so go ahead and install it. Okay, the installation is complete, and you can exit out of that. And alright, so let's go back to ArcGIS Pro. Alright, so when your ArcGIS Pro opens, we want to verify whether we have the add-in that we just installed. So to do that, you go to Share, and on this section you will see the ArcGIS solutions deployment. And once we have these, the next step will be deploying our solution to our ArcGIS Online. And to do that, just click on the ArcGIS Solutions deployment add-in that we installed to open it. And once it opens, it's a task, and it has 4 major things that you can do in it. So the first one calls for you to sign into ArcGIS organization, of which we are already signed in. And the next one is the most important, and it's the only one that we're going to be using today, and that is deploying an ArcGIS solution. So once you highlight the solution, there is this forward arrow, and that's what we're going to click on to open it. So once this solution opens, you will realize that it has it's busy. It has got a couple of options that you can click on to see what is inside. But what we need, as we said in the beginning, we want to go to the local government. One of the things that you can do is that if you know where your solution is, you can go to that place. But if you know the name of your solution, alternatively you can search for it here. So we know our solution lies in the local government category, and that's what we're going to click and wait. So thing that I would like to highlight here is that once you open the deploy an ArcGIS solution, there is these three stacked button, or the hamburger button. So that's you can click on that, and one thing that you should, in most instances make sure that you have done is uncheck that option. And once you uncheck that option, it simply means when you deploy a new solution of the same kind, it's not going to use one that is already in your organization. It could be you who have deployed it previously, or someone else in your organization. So always, or in most instances, make sure that you uncheck this option by coming to this hamburger button and then uncheck that. So now that we have cleared that out, so we are going all the way down to search for raw permit review. Okay, scroll down. All right, so we have got a raw permit review. You will realize that raw permit solution comes with other different solutions that you can deploy for your organization. So in the later series, we're going to be doing all these others, but for today we are going to deploy the raw permit review. So once you highlight that, make sure you have highlighted the solution that you want to deploy. So the next step is, for me at least, will be defining a folder where I want to deploy my solution into in ArcGIS Online. So you can create a folder here, and if you have a folder already in your ArcGIS Online, that's what you are supposed to choose. Now that I have one in ArcGIS Online, that's what I'm going to choose. And when you're done with that, the next step is to deploy your solution. And once the deployment is complete, it's going to write the solution in that folder in your ArcGIS Online, and we will see that in a minute. When we get back to ArcGIS Online, you'll be able to see that all the items that come in with this raw permit review solution are included there. Alright, and it's done. It took a few moments to complete that because it was writing hosted layer views, hosted features, and web maps and applications, web applications into this folder. And to verify whether the solution have been written to this specific folder, we will go to ArcGIS Online and navigate to that specific folder. So here I have my ArcGIS open, and this is the specific folder that I was talking about, and I'm going ahead to refresh this instance, and we will see if we have our contents here. And right in here you can see that we have the 4 items that come in with the solution, and that is the hosted feature layer, its layer view, a web map, and a web mapping application. So now that we have that, let's turn our attention again to ArcGIS Online. So you want to hit finish. We are done with deploying. So the next step that you can do, but we are not going to do it, is configure an ArcGIS solution. And this comes in handy maybe when you want to add domains, add fields to the specific hosted feature item, and do other fancy things with your hosted feature. But one thing that I would like to mention here is that the much you change your solution items, it compromises any future like capabilities of you being able to leverage the solution. So I would like you to be very cautious when you're doing any further manipulation. So I'm going to exit because I'm not doing any of these other steps. Once I'm done with the deployment, I'm going to now open my contents. And one thing that you'll realize, I have nothing here, but remember we need to bring our own hosted feature item. And to do that, in your catalog, ArcGIS Pro, go to portal, and then there we have a couple of options here. We have ArcGIS, that is ArcGIS Online. We have your favorites, your groups, Ribbing Atlas, and all that. So I have an item that I created long ago, and I'm going to add the item here. Okay. So, and once I add this item, this is the one that I'm going to be reviewing. So this is the same way that you would add your item. So you go to catalog, portal, and then search for your specific hosted feature item that you want to add. So once you're done with that process, you'll see your items here. I have like fancy symbology, and we're gonna be bringing in these again in ArcGIS Online, that for a later time. So once you have these, I'm going to minimize that. Still going back here, and the next thing that you want to do is search for the solution hosted feature layer that was added when you created the when you deployed the solution. And those contents, all those items are found in the in this folder. You remember we deployed our solution in this folder. For my case, I deployed it in this folder. So that's what I'm going to click. We need row permits, and that's what hosted feature item, and that's what I'm going to drag and drop in my contents. And once you're done with this step, so remember we don't need these items, so I'm going to remove that. And that item came in with its re-rated table, so this is what we need. So once we have these, the next step would be we have our database here. And one thing that I'm going to do is that I will clear everything that I have here, just to make sure that we have always, instead of clearing, I can just create a new database here. So I'm going to create a new file geodatabase. Okay, and I can call it solution deployment. Okay, so this database has nothing in it, and what we want to do is make sure that we have our hosted feature item into this file geodatabase, as well as this table. So, and to do that, you see we have this we have our own hosted feature item here. So this is what we are going to right click, and be sure that it's going to it's going to downgrade our symbology. So we have to go back and have this symbology again. So the thing that you want to do here is right click. Once you right click, point to the data, and then you want to export. So this pop-up window is drawn to you, but we want to save it to this file geodatabase now. This is the new one that we created. So, and then we are going to give it a name. I'm going to call it invasive agricultural pests. Okay, and once you're done with that, just hit OK to run and save your items in this new file geodatabase. Alright, once you're done with that, the one thing that you can do is right click on the file database and click refresh, and then you will see your items once you're done with that process. And the thing that you can do from these instances that you can go ahead and remove these items here, and now you repeat the same process again here. Right click the table, point out to the data, and then say export, and make sure that this is being saved to the right file database, and hit OK. And now I'm going to give it a name as well, row permit comment, and then hit OK. So once the process is done again, remember to refresh to see the newest items in your file database, and you can see we have the table now. So I'm going to do the same, right click the table, the older table, and hit remove. So at this point you want to make sure that you have at least this table and this item here, this layer here. So once you have that, the next step is to make sure that your items have the right fields, and by the right fields I mean they have the global IDs field, because that's what we need to create relationships. And the first thing that I'll do here is come here and right click and open attribute table. You can do it this way. So once you open the attribute table, there is the view tab, and once you're in the view tab you can open the fields to see all the fields that you have. So you can see we have the fields and everything. We have the fields with the aliases, and this is an instance where you can hide the fields that you don't want to show in your solution. And let's do it. So we need that field, we need that. So once you're done with that step, if at all you need to hide some fields, so you can see that we do not have a global ID field here. So if you do not have a global ID field, make sure to add it. So if there is no any global ID field, we are going to add it. And to do that, you're going to open your geoprocessing tool, and if it's not open, come to analysis and launch your tools. Now that I have it open here, I'm going to search for global IDs, add global IDs tool, and I'm going to point to my, remember it's this rare invasive agricultural pest. Then I'm going to add that. So the same thing, you can check if you have global IDs for this one as well. Going to open it. We have global ID, so we are not going to add that. So you can close out that, then make sure you run that, and once you're done with running the tool, you can go back and verify if you have your global IDs by opening the attribute table, and then can go all the way. Now you can see we have the global IDs. So that's a crucial thing that you need to verify that you do have. And I'm going to turn my attention here to make sure that it's there. Alright, we have the global ID field here, you can see. Alright, I'm going to save that, close out everything. So up to this point, we have deployed the we installed the add-in, we deployed the solution, and now we are configuring our layers. And to do that, I created a file geodatabase here. I right-clicked each of the items that I had, and then I went to data, exported, and then defined this file geodatabase as the new place that I want to save my item. I did the same for the standalone table, and then I deleted the older items. And now that I have everything in my solution deployment file geodatabase, the next step is creating relationships